Hello, I'm Michael Finn, Holistic Exercise and Lifestyle Coach, and today I'm going to talk about the way that we need to spend the majority of our time training in the winter months. So in the winter time, we're trying to encourage our body to be stronger and healthier for the spring and the summer when we're more active and maybe we're playing more sports and all that kind of good stuff. And with that, we want to build that strength by moving through full ranges of motion. We want to improve the strength of our muscle tissue. We want to improve the strength of our connective tissue. And we want to improve the strength of our fascia as well as our brain to be able to move through full ranges of motion. Because most of the time people get injured at the end of a range of motion, not somewhere in the middle. It's normally at the end, and so we want to get really strong at the end ranges of motion. So, as an example, if I'm going to do push-ups, or any kind of pressing activity, I want to make sure that I go through a full range of motion. So I have some push-up bars here that are going to allow me to get deeper into my push-up. So if I get into my push-up position and I drop all the way down into that push-up position to where, my shoulder blades, I can actually pull my shoulder blades all the way back. I'm actually laying down on the floor. I got full range of motion and stretch in through there. And then I want to push nice and slow and steady all the way out of that and come all the way up to the top. So that I train that full range of motion all the way down and all the way back up. I might even move a little bit at the bottom and move a little side to side to get deep into the ranges of motion all around the shoulder joint and in through the elbows. And having the shoulder blades move all the way in and all the way out so that you develop strength in that tissue through that complete range of motion, and it's going to reduce your risk of injury, especially non-contact injury, come in the springtime and the summertime. So as well as it's going to make your brain really smart. So that's one way we can do it with something like, say, a push-up. If we want to get more range of motion in our knees, I got my little wedges, or you could use weight plates where you put your heels up there on the weight plates. And then I just want to do a nice easy squat where I'm squatting all the way down, so it's mostly knees. And the knees are having to do a lot of the work because I've got my heels up on the plates and I'm dropping all the way down. I like to come all the way down where I can easily touch the floor and then come all the way back up. And then this way the knees are getting worked. Now, with all of these, you only want to move through a range of motion that doesn't have pain. Commonly when we have pain, it's because there's either weakness or tightness. So if you have pain, say like with this exercise, drop down, go to the edge of that pain, but don't go into it. Hold there for a couple of seconds and then push back out of it. Okay? And you will get stronger and have more mobility until eventually you'll be able to drop all the way down and come all the way back up without having pain. But don't work through any range of motion that causes pain. Go to the edge of it, hold a little isometric for a few seconds, and then push back out of that range of motion. Okay? So that's how we can do it with a squat to kind of work the knees really well. We can do the ankles really well by turning around and putting my feet up on the wedges so that the ball of my foot is up on the high part of the wedges, and do like some calf raises up there. That way I've got a stretch. Sometimes it's nice to have a little bit of a balance, something to hold on to, where I'm on a little bit of a stretch here at the bottom, not really much because my calves are nice and stretched out, but then I can push all the way up and through, and then I can lower myself all the way back down into that stretch. And that way we work the full range of motion of the ankle joint. So you can also do it at angles so that you work different angles of the motions of each particular joint. So other things are good are doing things like knee circles, where I just have my hands on my knees and I'm just taking my knees around in circles, both of them together as I'm bent over a little bit. You can do it standing up straight. You can do different things like that just to move your joints through a full and complete range of motion so that you build strength through there. All right? So if we want to get the hips, we could go into a kneeling position on the ground, and we could do basically like a crossing the arms over the chest and kind of do a hip extension this way, where we flex over and I come all the way down to where my tummy is on my thighs and I'm touching my forehead to the ground. And then I pull all the way back up and I come all the way up to a tall kneeling position once again. And this way I'm taking those hips through a full range of motion. So my back has to work too. So once again, listen to what the back might be saying. Oh, this is a little bit too tough. You might not be able to go that far into that range of motion. So only go as far as you can control and you can maintain. But we can do it, more with more weight, work things through fuller ranges of motion once we develop the strength. So something that might be more advanced, make sure you have a really healthy back to do this. But if I grab my cable pulley from down low and I get into a split stance so that my right foot is in front, my left foot is back in the back, I'm hanging onto the cable pulley with my left hand and I'm standing up tall. I'm going to bend forward. I'm going to have my right knee nice and soft, but I'm going to get all the way stretched down to where my whole stomach and even my rib cage is touching my right thigh. So I'm completely bent over. I've got the hip completely flexed forward as much as it can. And then I'm going to push through this right leg and I'm going to extend through the hips. And then I want to try to come up and back, not just back, but you want to think about going up first so that you push through that hip and you engage all of the back muscles and the ligamentous system in your back. This is why I say you need to have a healthy back to do this. Don't do this if you don't have a healthy back. Do some of the easier exercises first. And then you can also pull that hand, the left hand, into your left hip. And that way you activate the lat on the other side. So that we work this big X, basically from our right foot all the way up to our left hand. And we work that big X through that full range of motion. You're really going to feel it in through the glute and some of the external hip rotators. They're going to be working really hard. You might even get it down into the upper hamstring fibers a little bit that way. But we're working the full range of motion with everything we do. So if you're doing an overhead press, make sure to reach all the way up there and get your shoulder blades elevated all the way up to the top, and then come all the way back down and let them go all the way through. These are the ways that we want to train during the winter time. The winter is when your body is trying to rebuild and get strong and prepare itself for the extra loads that it's going to have in the spring and the summertime. So we want to get it healthy. So it's focusing on big, full ranges of motion exercise, not too many of them, a little bit lighter weight. Your repetitions should be higher. Your repetitions should be somewhere between 10 and 25 so that you develop all of the blood flow and the circulation and the healing properties needed to get as strong all around the joints and all around the connective tissue and all around through your muscles as well. So, if you have questions, make sure to put comments down below. Ask me whatever you want. Always happy to help people out. Ring the little bell and subscribe so that more people can find all this great stuff here on my channel. And I look forward to seeing all of you in the next video. Enjoy your winter using all of the range of motion of all of your joints in your body. Have a happy and healthy day.